what's up you guys, the Curious Owl here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my TBR for ANAthon. So if you guys did not see my announcement video I posted about a week ago or so about ANAthon, you should go check it out. It will be linked in the description and I will leave a card in this video for that. But if you don't know what ANAthon is, it is a new readathon that I have teamed up with to do with my friends Adri from Full Time Reads and Liv from Two Quills, both of who I do the House Cupathon with. We decided to do a readathon based on just adult and new adult novels because we feel like the adult and new adult genres don't typically get a lot of love sometimes in booktube. We feel like a lot of times booktube focuses so much on like middle grade and YA, which is fine, but we wanted to do a readathon specifically for the new adult and adult reads. So there are some challenges and prompts and stuff that you can do, but pretty much the only big goal is to read just new adult and adult books. And we have some prompts that basically will help you with finding books that might fit that kind of age range and some ideas about maybe topics or different kinds of genres that you can use in adult and new adult. So I have a list of 5 books I'm going to be hopefully reading within the 10 days of March, starting from March 1st to March 10th. So first things first, I am going to be reading Fire and Blood by George R.R. Martin. This is going to complete 2 prompts. It's going to complete my adult fantasy read and my adult in general book for the readathon. Now, one of the things that we ask in the readathon is that for each of the prompts, you only use them once and you can only double up. So for both adult fantasy and adult book, I can no longer use those, and this book only is able to do 2 of those prompts. I've been wanting to read this book for a very long time because I did read pretty much all of the books in the Song of Ice and Fire series at the end of 2018 and throughout the entirety of 2019, and I've really enjoyed each book in the series, and I'm very excited for the next book that is hopefully going to be coming out this spring. I really hope it does. But Fire and Blood is essentially the backstory of the Song of Ice and Fire series. This story is actually taking place 300 years before the events, though, of A Song of Ice and Fire, following the Targaryen bloodline, essentially pathing out the entirety of their history leading up to essentially what we know about them in the Song of Ice and Fire series. This is a chunker, though. This one is over 700 pages, I'm fairly certain, so this one will probably take up most of my readathon, but I'm hoping that it will be easy enough for me to fly through since I feel like I really enjoyed the Song of Ice and Fire series a lot. The next book is a book that I am going to be reading for kind of more so general purposes, but it may, depending on how the week goes, take up some challenges for this readathon, and that is Salems Lot by Stephen King. So if you guys don't know, in the beginning of 2020, I decided I was going to undertake a chronological reading of all of Stephen King's work because I really do like a lot of what Stephen King has written, and there are a lot of books of his I've not read or have not read in a very long time, and I want to see his progression in his writing. So I do have Carrie, which is his first book that I am reading today on February 29th, so that's going to end off my February reading, and then Salem's Lot is the next book. This one can work for 2 prompts, which are the mystery thriller genre and paranormal genre, but I don't know if it's going to do that because depending on if I have time, I may read the next book chronologically that came out of his, which is The Shining. And if I can get to The Shining, I want to use that one for those prompts. But if I don't get to it during ANAthon, this one will still count for both of those because there are a lot of themes that do follow mystery thriller and paranormal literature. So it just really depends on how my week goes, whether or not I can get through this one and The Shining, or if I can only get to this one. The next one is Monstrous Volume 2 by Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. This is going to count for my graphic novel / comic prompt. This is a graphic novel series that is adult based because it is very graphic in terms of gore and nudity and things of that nature, and this follows a young woman who essentially is like this powerful sorceress that comes from a long line of sorceresses or sorcerers in general, and she's considered very dangerous, and so there's a lot of people that are after her because of her past, but she doesn't really know much about it. There's a whole storyline of how essentially her mother died when she was very young, and all of a sudden something happened to her and she had these powers because she didn't beforehand, and so there's a lot of mystery surrounding around how she got her powers and who she is. And I read the first volume in January, I believe, for the House Cupathon. I think it was January. It may have been early February. I'm not quite sure, but I really did love the first volume a lot. I love the art style. I feel like it's very interesting and very different from a lot of graphic novels I've seen in the past, and so I'm very excited to go through this. And then I will also be getting to volume 3, which is the newest edition of the series, later in the month, but I'm really excited to get to volume 2 since it'll be at the very beginning of the month, and it will be a very, very quick read, as most graphic novels are. The next book I will be reading is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This is a adult romance, and I am using this for 2 of the prompts, which include the adult romance genre pick and a book with LGBTQ characters or romance. So this does follow a male-male relationship with the son of the President of the United States and I believe one of the princes of England. I don't know much more other than that, but I've been hearing some really great reviews of it. I have heard though that some people, especially that are from England, do not think that the representation for the Prince of England is accurate in terms of the way that he's presented, and they feel like he's much more Americanized. I have no idea whether or not that is true, but that's just based off of what I know from people who are from England that have read this. So I'm hoping to still love it, considering that I've been finding a lot of contemporary adult romances being very fun. So I don't know. We'll see how I think about it. And the last book I am going to be reading is an audiobook for our audiobook prompt, which is going to be The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. Now, I tried reading this in November of 2019, and in that month, I was actually getting really burnt out on audiobooks. So pretty much every audiobook I was listening to that month, I was DNFing because I just couldn't stay focused with anything. And unfortunately, this was one of them. I also felt like for some reason, the very beginning was a little confusing, but I just wasn't sure if it was because of my burnout I was feeling or what. So I am going to give this one another chance. I think this one kind of delves into maybe some like sci-fi-y things. I'm not even 100% sure, and I didn't know enough about it to really feel comfortable giving it the sci-fi based prompt, so I just decided to leave it as the audiobook pick for this week. So over the course of the 10 days of ANAthon, I will be reading 5 books, which will be completing 8 of the prompts, which the goal is to hopefully get between 5 to 7, depending on how many books you end up reading and how many double up, but I feel like that's pretty awesome to be able to complete 8 of the prompts. So those are all the books I will be reading for ANAthon. Let me know if you guys are going to be participating in it with us and what you are planning on reading. We do have a Twitter set up and a hashtag that you can use if you use hashtag ANAthon, which I will leave all of the stuff that you need to know down in the description below. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me in this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit the button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!